Hello everybody, welcome back to Screen Stars. I'm here today to bring you my review for the 2020 horror film Host. This is a film that is co-written and directed by Robert Savage, and it stars Hayley Bishop, Gemma Moore, Emma Louise Webb, Radina Dradova, Caroline Ward and Alan Emrys. Now this is a Shudder exclusive, and I guess you could call it a found footage type horror film because it is filmed essentially on mobile phones and laptops and things like that, and it focuses on 6 friends who hire a medium to hold a seance over Zoom during the COVID-19 lockdown. A couple of them don't take it particularly seriously, which allows a negative entity to come through, which affects them all in more escalating and violent ways. So that's essentially the storyline that we get here. Now this film really surprised me. I've only just finished watching it, I don't know, half an hour ago or something. Prepped this review because I felt like I needed to talk about it. It's one of those films that I watched, really drew me in. I really enjoyed it. And sometimes I watch a film and I'm like, I need to get this stuff out of my head now. I need to talk about this film, so I thought I would do the review now. I'm really impressed with this film. It felt original, new and fresh, but familiar at the same time. Like I say, I love found footage, and if I was to describe a horror genre for this to fit in, it would be found footage, but it feels new and different as well. It was clever, it addressed the lockdown issues, it felt real and genuine. The actresses and actor who were all involved in the film did a brilliant job. I can't give you many faults other than it's only about an hour long. I felt it could have been a little bit longer so that we were allowed to get to know these characters a little bit more. There's a couple of moments in the film where there's things happening and you're not exactly sure who it is, which character it is, and then you'll catch a glimpse of who it is and you'll think, alright, I know who you are, but you might not just remember their name. I think a little bit more character development would have been nice, but it was almost like we were spying in on their Zoom meeting. And the thing this film does that was really clever, I felt, was when one of the one of the girls in the Zoom meeting is affected by this spirit, or it's doing things to them or around them, the others are watching it happen as you are, so you feel like you're part of the Zoom meeting watching it with them. You feel it's almost like it's audience participation because they're audience members just like you when they're watching something happen to their friend. It's very clever in how it does it, this film, and it's not just a cheap and cheerful horror film that's done right. That in itself is a victory for a horror film. It is fairly cheap and cheerful and it is done right. However, when it gets down to the supernatural events that are taking place, they don't really nickel and dime you here. I thought the effects were quite impressive. There's levitations that go on, there's a couple of other effects that you only see like glimpses of here and there, and I thought, like there's things flying across rooms, there's cupboard doors flying open, chairs flying across the room with people on them, people being dragged about, and it all looked real. So I really congratulate them on the effects as well. It all looked real. There's nothing that looked particularly fake. There was one scene where there was like a mask that turned to look at someone, and I think I know why they did that. It was for 2 reasons, and that looked a little bit dodgy, but I'm nitpicking there. I just think it was a really effective film. For me, the acid test for a horror film is always if I feel cold and I'm watching it. And I did. My fingertips were feeling cold watching it, and I was completely hypnotised by the film. I was really on the edge of my seat after about 10 or 15 minutes when things start happening in this film. You're just on the edge of your seat, and you think it's going to be only little things, but it's not. It really kicks off big time, and it doesn't hold back. And there's some pretty brutal stuff happening in the film, and you really are drawn in as an audience member. I think it's a really well made, clever horror film, and I think all the actors on board here I think did a really good job. I was a little worried initially after the first couple of minutes. It all felt a tad false, but I've done some Zoom meetings myself through work, and you're not yourself initially, you know what I mean? You are a bit uncomfortable and stuff like that because it's not a normal, natural thing. And then when they all got into the swing of it, they knocked it out of the park, these actors and actresses. It was really good performances. You felt like they did know each other. You felt like it was a group of real friends. And then when they see the traumatic things that are happening to each other, how traumatized and terrified they are by what they're seeing, that again nailed it in regards to performances as well. It was really effectively done. So what we get here, I think, is a really nice surprise. It's a really well made horror film that has surprised me massively. It's definitely one of my favourite horror films of 2020. It's, for me, worth, if you don't have Shudder, it's worth doing the 7 days free trial just to watch this film. And I really do mean that. It was really good. Yes, it could have been a little bit longer, but what we got was an hour's worth of full-on intense horror with some real shocks, some real genuine scares, nicely made, really effective, and from my perspective, a film I thoroughly enjoyed. So an 8.5 out of 10 from me, a really strong entry into this genre, and one I definitely recommend you pop out and get watched on your tablet, on your laptop, whatever. Get it watched today. Horror fans, I think, are going to love this one. It's really good. So that is my review for Host. I hope you enjoyed it. Thank you very much for watching, and of course I will be back with more reviews on Screen Stars very soon.